This video goes over the business hours for the buyer that you would set up to tell TrackDrive when the buyer is open for business to take calls. Again, our offers don't have anything intelligent in them. The buyer records do. So you don't set up business hours in the offer, because your offers should have in them any buyer that's going to take calls from that offer. Because again, we always preach one offer per vertical, one offer for health insurance, one offer for student loan, one offer for life insurance, and all the buyers will go on that one offer. So there is no hours of operation for the offer. That all happens and controlled by all the buyers that are on that offer. So I'm going to come in here to set up the business hours. Now when we add a buyer for you, it's always going to have their open 24/7. That's probably not always the case, or usually not the case. So I can go ahead and edit that. Now I'm going to be a little facetious on this demo. You see in here we have the hourly caps, we have the hour dollar cap, we have many calls they can take at a time, which is called the concurrency cap, and you'll often refer to people say I need 100 cc or 10 cc. That's concurrency cap, made up by me back in the day. But anyway, the concurrency cap will be how many calls they can take at a time. So I'm going to be a little facetious on this and say this guy can take 50 calls at a time, and I'll wipe this out. And I'm going to say that he's open from 8 to noon Monday through Saturday, and 2 to 5 Monday through Friday only. Oops, I missed a little row there. And that he can take 50 calls at a time. Now the pacing here is another way to limit the calls within that. So I can do that. I want to pace per minute, and I want to say that he has every 15 minutes. Within those things, he can take no more than 10 calls every 15 minutes. Probably wouldn't make sense with the 50 cc, but this is what the pacing does, is allows you to slow roll the calls going at this buyer, in addition to how many calls he can take concurrently, how many calls he can take within some certain amount of time. So I'm going to go ahead and disable that for that, but that's what that does. So back to how I'm day parting this person. He says that he has 50 agents for me at these times here. So I'll go ahead and update that. Then I'm going to come in and add more business hours, and I'm going to say at this time he can only take 25 calls at a time. I'll go ahead and wipe out the hours, and I'm going to say from noon to 2 Monday through Friday only. His sends half his guys off to lunch, so that's why he can only take 25 at that time. And then I'm going to come in and add yet another set of business hours, where I'm going to say he can take 10 calls at this time, and I'm going to say that's from 5 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. So after his big shift of people work, there's a tinier shift that stays behind. So in this view here, you can see that I've set up business hours where you can take 50 cc at these times, 25 cc's at this time, 10 cc's at this time. Okay. Now in there, if you're on a mobile device, it's very difficult to try to do this dragging around. And if you didn't notice that if I click around in something that's already colored blue, it's turning off those hours. If I click anything that's gray, I'm turning on those hours. Now if you click and drag, that's how I'm setting the hours. Right, so I set those hours, I remove those hours. Okay? But if you're on a mobile device, very difficult to do that drag maneuver. So we do have table view that'll let you set up. You see I had Monday 8 to noon, and 2 to 5. Tuesday did the same. Dragging the mouse around does that for you, much easier to use. But if you're on a mobile device and have to change something, if you do click on the grid view, you'll be able to do it in a table or a table view, whatever it said there. So that's how you set the business hours of when this buyer is open for business.